Okay, great. We're live here. Just a little quick midweek update. And I wanted to let you know what's going down in Springfield, first of all. Yesterday, they passed a total of 63 bills out of the House, and 8 were Republican, 55 were Democrats, because, of course, Republicans don't have any good ideas, so we're only going to run Democrat bills. And that's essentially what it looks like here. This is such a skewed number of folks that are getting their bills passed as a Democrat versus Republicans. It's obvious. It's obvious what they're doing. They're passing Democrat bills and not Republican bills. And they're not even hearing Republican bills. And Republicans have a lot of good ideas. But you tell me, I'm going to kind of go through this list of bills that were passed. You tell me if there's anything earth-shattering on this list that's going to, change the trajectory of your family's lifestyle, help your business out, maybe support your kids in school. You tell me if any of this makes sense, because it doesn't. It's all a bunch of garbage. Okay, first of all, there was a Kelly Cassidy bill about crime reduction and adult redeploy. It really doesn't matter to nearly anybody. It's simply about how do we help felons get better jobs and things like that. This one cracked me up. This one is from obviously a huge union guy, Greg Johnson, HB 4417. And what this bill does is it says that all public high schools, including charter schools, may designate and annually observe a week known as Workplace Readiness Week. And during that week, students will be provided information on their rights as workers. That's what we're going to educate them on. They're going to be taught about the prohibitions against misclassification as an independent contractor. They're going to learn about child labor. They're going to learn about wage and hour protections, work safety, work compensation, unemployment insurance, and paid sick leave and paid family leave, the right to organize a union in the workplace. They're going to learn all about that. Now, the big amendment to this was his initial bill that he had is he said that all public schools and charter schools shall have a week where they present work readiness training. Shall. Well, that was going nowhere. So, of course, he did change that to you may do this as a school. This is another one of those, like, show me your union credentials type bills. Show me, pander to my union buddies bills. That's what all this is about. This is, essentially, if you're a school and you're picking up this legislation or you're picking up this as curriculum, you seriously have a problem, because there's a whole lot of other things that should be required stuff like, how about how to prepare your taxes, how to make a budget. All that's still optional. That's not required at all for graduation. But you know what? We want worker rights. We want people to understand their paid family leave when they're, a junior and a senior in high school. Total nonsense. Garbage. Let's see. Edgar Gonzalez, he got something out about state agencies' website cookies. Okay. Daniel Didich, he has one about local and school contracting goals. This is another one of those that's kind of alarming. Okay, so they're basically saying, you know what, here's the goals that you should have for state contracting. This is for the Township Code, Illinois Municipal Code, Downstate Forest Preserve Code, Park District Codes, local libraries, Library District Act. It affects community colleges as well, and says that the Board of Trustees and the corporate authorities of various local government entities, yada, 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 may establish aspirational goals for awarding of contracts to minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, businesses owned by persons with disabilities. And it defines, of course, minority-owned, women-owned businesses. Okay, so this is another one of those, like, you may do this, and you may just set a goal. This bill does nothing. This absolutely does nothing. They can do it if they want to. They can't do it if they want to. Here's the truth of it. This whole bill is racist. The whole damn bill's racist. It is. So we're going to set minority contracting goals? That's racist. Didn't we just have a big court case about racial administration, admissions into higher education? I'm telling you what, all of those laws are going to come in under attack. There's going to be people that are going to sue over this stuff because you are literally handing out business based on race. That's not right. It's not right. It's not right to hand it out based on whether or not you're a woman either, or whether or not you have a disability. It's just not right. You can promote it. You can try and promote it. It's not right to actually require it or require goals. And again, I covered this last week because that's all you heard at the Higher Education Appropriations Committee was whether or not those universities were meeting the 30% diversity contracting goal that they had set out a couple of years ago. That was the biggest question that they asked. Not about what's your 4-year graduation rate or anything like that, but what are your diversity contracting goals? Total nonsense, and he's doubling down on it. There's another one. Oh, this is an interesting bill. It's HB 4460. Mary Gill's running it again. It's a Democrat bill, and it's about police and fire insurance, mental health. Now, the interesting thing about this bill is, like, mental health. Sure, we want to protect mental health of police and fire. There's no doubt about it. This bill is so darn specific that it says that you must allow for and pay for, with no copay, no cost sharing requirements, nothing paid for on the part of the recipient of the mental health care. The entire cost of it must be picked up by the government group, whether it's state employees group insurance or your municipality or anything like that. It must be picked up by them. And this is not just for the firefighter. This is joint mental health therapy services. It's for the officer or the firefighter and a spouse or partner of the officer and the firefighter. So it's when they're going together for joint mental health services. That's what this bill is about. So this one little carve-out niche thing, we're gonna make sure that we pay for all. I don't know. Could be marriage counseling, right? Could be that's what we're paying for, and we're paying for it in full. There's no copay required. Okay, all right, whatever. Here's another one. Here's another diversity bill. Another diversity bill. I mean, they passed 55 bills. We're already at diversity bill number 3. This is Camille Lilly, and it's HB 4566. And the vote on that, I thought I pulled the vote on that. I can find the vote here quickly. But her bill, which was voted on by the House. Again, these are just House bills. They have to go to the Senate. And there were 91 yeses to that, and there were 20 noes to that. So that tells you that half of the Republicans voted with the Democrats to pass this bill. And this bill is essentially, it's a business diversity task force. And it creates this task force within the Office of the Secretary of State. It says that the purpose of the task force is to identify ways to increase diversity in business organization leadership, and to make recommendations to the governor and the General Assembly to achieve that goal. So again, you know, we're playing the race card, the women card, you name it card, the ethnic card, the LGBTQ card, because that's considered diversity now too. So we're playing all those cards so that we can force businesses to tell them, hey, this is how we think that you should diversify your workforce. So there we go, another one. There's something about catalytic converters, you know, in terms of theft. Oh, one's interesting. Harry Benton. Way to go, Harry Benton. You're just killing it down there. HB 4590. It provides that an animal shelter or animal control facility may, rather than shall. Again, it's one of these like optional things you can do. So it's meaningless because they could do it anyway if they wanted to. There's nothing preventing these people from doing this, but it lets them do it if they want to. It says you may waive the adoption fee for a dog or cat if the person adopting the dog or cat is a veteran and meets specified criteria. Well, hell, they could have done that anyway. Your local animal shelter could have said, you know what, we're gonna waive all the fees for if you're a veteran. But no, we have to have a law that says that you can do that. No, again, this is Harry Benton pandering to his, I don't know, his base that likes dogs. Well, I like dogs too, but I don't need you to spend your time down in Springfield doing BS bills like this. But that's exactly what they're doing. Oh, this one's a good one too. Oh my gosh, there's so many good ones here. Here's Lance at Yednock, and Lance isn't coming back. HB 4615, he decided not to come back. This is a hot tub licensing, campground hot tub licensing bill. And it says specifically that a licensed campground that installs or permits the installation of one or more hot tubs on a deck on or after the effective date of this amendatory act shall ensure that the deck is made of acceptable material. An architect licensed under the Illinois Architectural Practice Act of 1989 or a structural engineer licensed under Structural Engineering Practice Act of 1989 is responsible for coordinating the design, planning, and creation of specifications for that deck and applying for a permit for construction of that deck. So it is now, the funny thing is about this is it's probably a safety thing. Like if you're going to put a hot tub on a deck, we want to make sure that that deck is strong enough to hold a hot tub if you have one or more hot tubs. Let me read that again here. Yes, one or more hot tubs. So even if you have just one hot tub, the deck has to now have a permit. It has to be looked at by a structural engineer or an architect, and it has to be made of acceptable material. And this is for campground hot tubs. All right. Okay, I get it. We want people to be safe. But truthfully, do you think that they're building unsafe platforms for hot tubs to sit on? Is that our concern? Because don't you think they could be sued if they had a problem with an unsafe decking material beneath a hot tub? Don't you think that that would be something that the campground would be more interested in making sure was sufficient without having a lawsuit or anything? Or don't you think the insurance company would say that, you know, if you're going to have a hot tub, you got to have all these other things around it, otherwise we're not going to insure that hot tub? Don't you think that that's the case? Don't you think the private sector can handle this? Not to mention the other thing that I found very interesting is that if this is about safety, this only applies to installations of these hot tubs after the effective date of the mandatory act. Why aren't you looking at all the ones that are currently in place? Why isn't that a concern for you? I don't know, Lance. You tell me. I guess we're not worried about the ones that are currently placed on poor decking material. Probably because there's not a lot of this going on, right? There's probably not a lot of problems here. But we're going to, I don't know, there was maybe some one-off accident that people want to be sure about. You know, who knows? Okay, you've got, what else? Oh, here we go, Matt Hansen. Matt Hansen, DUI Matt Hansen, because he got a DUI. DUI, so nice job, Batavia, Geneva, that whole district where Matt Hansen beat Keith Wheeler in 2022. Okay, now he got a DUI. He's running again. Hey, look at, I've got the perfect tagline for somebody who wants to run against him. Matt Hansen, you can't trust him on your streets and you can't trust him in Springfield. Anyway, he's running this bill. Oh, he got the official state bean bill. Darn it, I wish I had run that. I mean, we got our official vegetable. You know, we got our official fruit, we got our official tree, we got state bird, insect, I don't know, snake. What do we got? Well, now we have the official state bean, and I mean, no surprise, right? No surprise to anybody here. It's the soybean. The soybean is now designated as the official state bean of the state of Illinois. Well, not quite yet, because this bill has to go to the Senate, and then it's got to get signed by the governor, but we'll see. I think the governor might sign this bill. And I actually think I might be okay with him signing this bill. This will be fine. Great. No problem. Okay, we've got a few pension bills here. Yeah, we've got Amy Elick. She's a Republican, actually. She's got some sort of a return to teaching bill, letting you keep your pension while still going back and teaching. Yeah, because that's what we do here. Oh, Dan Swanson's got a bill about Scott's Law, putting that law... putting the knowledge of Scott's Law on the driver's license exam. Now, I think it was still there. I think it was already there. I think that they already teach Scott's Law. And, he says that if an applicant gives an incorrect response to the question on the written portion of the driver's license concerning driver responsibilities when approaching a stationary emergency vehicle, disabled vehicle, or highway construction, then the Secretary of State shall provide the applicant with information concerning those provisions. So they're gonna track for every single person who goes ahead and takes a driver's license. They're gonna track everybody who misses the question on Scott's Law. They're gonna track everyone. If you miss, 100 questions, you get 99 right, but you miss the question on Scott's Law, you don't know that you should actually move over to the far lane, away from the emergency or construction. You should move over. If you don't know that, if Swanson's bill passes, the Secretary of State is going to mail the applicant information about these provisions. Well, maybe they'll email them. That would save a lot of money. But if they do mail them, what if they mail them? How much is that going to cost? Guess what? I think most people that I see and I watch on the road always try to move over. There's times you can't get over because there's a big-ass truck right next to you. But most people, and truckers especially, they always try to move over for that. But you're right, it is important. It's very important. I'm not dismissing that. But the fact that you are going to mail the, hey, how come the secretary, how come the guy who's checking the exam can't just say, hey, you know what, you missed a really important question. I want to make sure that I cover that individually with you. How hard is that? You missed question 39. It's on Scott's Law. I have to give you this additional information. Oh, no, we're going to have the Secretary of State track everybody that missed that question and send them information. What the hell? Oh, no, this is, again, pandering. Oh, Will Gazzardi, he had a doozy. A Landlord Retaliation Act. You know what? Landlords can't retaliate against somebody complaining about this or that. All right, okay. So we're gonna again regulate private transactions. That's how I see it. Anyway, there's just a whole pile of garbage here. There's one about Stephanie Kifowit, who always does the veteran bills, always, because she's served 3 years in the Marines, so she does all the veteran bills. This one's about the human remains of veterans. It essentially says that you can go ahead and if a gravestone is falling apart, you know that the veterans' remains are there, then you know what, this allows that local veterans organization to maintain that gravesite, maintain that headstone, replace it. Okay, all right. You know what, honestly, I don't know why we needed state law to do that. But whatever. Ryan Spain, Republican, here's his big bill. Vital records on a death notice. It says that the county outside of a deceased county's of residence, the local registrar of the district in which the death certificate was filed shall, within 7 days after its filing, send a copy of the death certificate to the local registrar in the district where the deceased county of residence is located. So he's trying to clean up the voter rolls. So if you die in one county but you resided in another county, then the coroner has to send that record that you died, that death certificate. One county's got to send it to the other county to get you off the voter rolls. I mean, the fact that you have to have legislation to do what's an obvious thing to do is mystifying to me. Mystifying. I mean, also, these death certificates, they go into a master data file and they go into the Social Security file. And typically what happens is they pull down the death certificate notification file from the Social Security Administration, and that's the gospel they take. That's the one that they really look at. Now, you should, since it's local, you should be able to just get your county's death certificate and take them off the voter roll. But they also look at this master file all the time, and they clean up the voter rolls that way. But you know, we have to legislate what's obvious. That's another thing that you should know about. Anyway, I just wanted to go through a few of these bills. Again, you had 63 bills passed, 55 were Democrats, 8 were Republicans, because, you know, the Democrats have all the great ideas in this state. That's why we're in such great shape. Thanks for joining me on this little update in the midweek, and we'll get back to you with more. If you want to, go ahead and listen in tomorrow morning to the Higher Education Appropriations Committee hearing. That's the one I did my Facebook Live on last time. You've got a lot of heavy hitters coming up before that committee to go ahead and talk about their budget and how great that they're doing. And I'm going to be watching to find out what they actually say. Because, as I've told you before, a lot of times watching the committee hearings and finding out what is not asked, the questions that are not asked, tells you a lot more about your representative than the questions that they do ask. So that's it. Let me think here. That committee hearing, just so you can always go to the ILGA website. You can log on to the look at schedules, look at where they're going to be, but I'm going to tell you right now. Okay. Well, let me take a minute here. Well, the Higher Education Committee is at 10:30 a.m. And, the Appropriations Higher Education Committee is tomorrow at 8 a.m. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. Higher Education Appropriations Committee. It's in room 122B. If you want to listen, just go to audio video and hit 122B. You can hear it audio or watch it in the video, and you can listen into the hearing. All right, that's all I got. Thanks a lot.